Right friends, welcome back to Why and How for 9th week up to 5th March. Look at the first one. VX nerve agent killed Kim Jong-nam, half-brother of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-nam was killed recently in Malaysia and VX nerve agent was used. And what is this? This VX nerve agent is a chemical weapon, and it is believed that North Korea has up to 5,000 tons of chemical weapons, and chemical weapon is one of the weapons of mass destruction. And please look into this. This is North Korea and South Korea separated by demilitarized zone. This is one aspect. And if you look at VX, I have given some details here. Basically, a small drop of VX absorbed through the skin can fatally disrupt the nervous system, leading to the death probably within few minutes. So this is example of chemical weapon, and chemical weapons are prohibited as per Chemical Weapons Convention. And if you look at the conventional weapons, I would like to bifurcate between conventional weapons and weapons of mass destruction. One side there are conventional weapons, other side weapons of mass destruction. And if you look at conventional weapons, these are all conventional weapons: rockets, missiles, cluster bombs, incendiary weapons. These are all examples of conventional weapons. And there is one convention on certain conventional weapons or inhumane weapons convention is there. And recently in Syria, incendiary weapons were used. Please understand carefully, there is a news item. In Syria, incendiary weapons were used, and incendiary weapons are nothing but just like fire bombs. This is one example of incendiary weapon. And recently there was a news item that in Syria, incendiary weapons were used. And if you look at the protocols with regard to incendiary weapons are prohibited in civilian areas. Incendiary weapons are altogether not banned, but they are prohibited in civilian areas. And if you look at the weapons of mass destruction, you see one side conventional weapons. Recently incendiary weapons were in the news and they were banned in civilian areas only. And other side there are weapons of mass destruction. These are all known as weapons of mass destruction: nuclear weapons, biological weapons, chemical weapons, radiological weapons. Nuclear weapons, all of you are familiar with these weapons: atom bombs, hydrogen bombs. These are examples of nuclear weapons. And if you look at biological weapons, these are various types of bacteria, viruses, fungi, right? So these are biological weapons. Then chemical weapons. Chemical weapons, example I have given here. And chemical weapons is a part of weapons of mass destruction. And if you look at various types of chemical weapons, there are blister agents, blood agents, nerve agents. And the VX which was used against the half-brother of North Korean leader was VX, and VX is nerve agent and it is extremely toxic and have rapid effect, enters the body through inhalation or through the skin. And what about conventions? These chemical weapons are totally prohibited. And OPCW, that is Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, looks at this Chemical Weapons Convention, and the goal is world must be free of chemical weapons. But unfortunately there are news reports that chemical weapons are available with some countries, and North Korea is one example of having these chemical weapons. And if you look at the protocol, these are totally banned or prohibited. And another type of weapons of mass destruction are this radiological weapons. So we discussed about conventional weapons, weapons of mass destruction. So, you have clear idea about weapons of mass destruction, and chemical weapons are part of weapons of mass destruction, and they are totally banned or prohibited as per the convention worldwide. Look at the next one. A record-breaking mass nesting by 3.8 lakh endangered olive Ridley turtles. Olive Ridley turtles, they go for mass nesting, and the areas famous for mass nesting are in Odisha. The conditions are favorable because less salinity is required, and normally olive Ridley turtles go for mass nesting during the months of November to March. And two places, if someone talks about, please don't forget, one is Rushikulya and the second one is Gahirmatha. These two are in Odisha. So, these two places are famous for the mass nesting of olive Ridley turtles. Please don't forget, this is Rushikulya and the other one is Gahirmatha. These two things, please don't forget. Around 20 million people are on the brink of a famine, including 1.4 million children as per UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. Risk of a famine is staring in the world in some countries like Nigeria. Certain parts of Nigeria, northeastern part, is worst affected because of extremism. South Sudan, because two groups are one against the other and almost the country is at the brink of civil war. Then Somalia, Yemen, already Yemen civil war is going on. So, these countries are in the brink of a famine, and please don't forget, a country is declared as a famine by United Nations when these three conditions are met. I have given the three conditions, please go through them. When these three conditions are met, then the country is declared as famine affected country, and four countries are now worst affected across the world. And if you look at the meaning of a famine, please don't forget the famous famine of, or you can say devastating famine, which affected Bengal badly in 1940s. And famine, it is characterized by widespread deaths due to starvation, right? So, four countries are at the brink of a famine in the world. This is unfortunate thing, and scientists have discovered chemical pollutants at deep inside the ocean. Previously, it was thought that deep sea is one of the world's last pristine places, that means not affected by pollution. But now, it is ascertained that even Mariana Trench is also polluted. You may have a doubt, where is the Mariana Trench? It is the deepest point on the globe in Pacific Ocean at around 11,000 meters depth, and even Mariana Trench is polluted, and it indicates that deep oceans are also badly polluted and contaminants sink deep into the ocean. And in Mariana Trench is in Pacific Ocean. In Mariana Trench, there is a polychlorinated biphenyls. Polychlorinated biphenyls levels were found to be about 50 times greater than the levels in the crabs living near China's one of the most polluted waterways. That means sea pollution is quite severe. And here there is PCBs and PBDs. Both were found, and both may cause adverse health effects, including neurological, immune and reproductive issues, and even cancer. So, the researchers found PCBs and PBDs in amphipods at depths up to around 10,000 meters deep, right? So, the situation is alarming in deep oceans also. So, the pollution affected deep oceans also. That is the point to convey here. Then, this is Mariana Trench. Please don't forget, this is in North Pacific Ocean. Look at the next one. DRDO formally handed over an indigenously developed weapon locating radar system called Swati. This is weapon locating radar, highly useful along the border areas with Pakistan, and this WLR or weapon locating radar system is a critical requirement of the army, and it has a range of 50 kilometers. And you may have a doubt, what is the purpose of Swati? Swati provides quick, automatic and accurate location of all the enemy weapons like mortars, shells, rockets within the zone of consideration, right? So, it can also simultaneously detect multiple projectiles fired from different weapons at different locations. So, Swati, please don't forget, Swati means this is a weapon locating radar handed over to the army and devised and developed indigenously by DRDO, please don't forget. Then look into the next one. There is an intellectual property battle going on between Broad Institute of Harvard and University of California, Berkeley with regard to CRISPR Cas9. And this is into the news. Please forget about intellectual property dispute. Please look at what is meant by CRISPR Cas9. This is the technique of gene editing. I will explain you a bit about it. What is gene editing? Why is it important? And before going ahead, CRISPR, what is the full form? You should have clear idea. Clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats. This is CRISPR or CRISPR. And CRISPR Cas9 is gene editing technology. And CRISPR Cas9 relies on Cas9 enzyme to cut DNA. For cutting DNA, the enzyme used here is Cas9. So, if someone talks about Cas9, that is enzyme, and this CRISPR technology is a gene editing technology. And please look into this picture. It will be very clear to you. What is DNA? Here you see cell. Inside the cell, there is nucleus. Inside the cell, there is a nucleus, and nucleus consists of chromosomes, and here DNA, that is deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA is unique to human being. That means what I mean to convey is DNA is unique to each and every human being. That is different for each and every human being. DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid, and you can say it is the material inside the nucleus of the cells. DNA is the material inside the nucleus of the cells, and it carries genetic information. So, DNA carries genetic information. Now, the research is going for modifying the DNA. If some unwanted link is there in DNA, which is causing abnormalities in the body like cancer, they have to be cut and thrown out. So, the unwanted things in DNA is to be cut, and for cutting unwanted things in DNA, enzymes are required. Enzyme is nothing but proteins, and certain enzymes can cut pieces of DNA of one organism. So, here in CRISPR Cas9, Cas9 is the enzyme which cuts DNA. So, the unwanted parts of a DNA link will be cut, and it is considered to be a breakthrough research as far as cancer and other diseases are concerned. Right? So, this is all about CRISPR Cas9, and you should have clear idea about what is DNA and what is Cas9 and what is the meaning of this gene editing. You can say editing the DNA is nothing but gene editing. Removing the unwanted traits from the DNA is gene editing. More than this, we will discuss sometime later through news capsules. Look at the next one. 70% of the species of black rhinoceros have vanished across the world. Black rhinoceros habitat is primarily in sub-Saharan Africa. Black rhinoceros habitat is primarily in sub-Saharan Africa, and please look into this. This is a black rhinoceros. Why they are being killed? The reason is the value of the rhinoceros horn touched $65,000 per kg, and these are used in some cultures for ornamental or traditional medicinal purposes, and Vietnam is one example, and the population of rhinos reduced drastically, and 70% of the species genetic diversity was also vanished, right? So this is the present state, and this black rhinoceros are vanishing across the world. Look at the next one. NASA plans to send its first robotic spacecraft to the sun next year. Next year, NASA plans to send its first robotic spacecraft. And you may have a doubt whether this spacecraft will go right up to the sun. Never, it cannot go. And all of you are familiar with the distance between sun and earth is around 150 million kilometers. And the spacecraft will go up to 6 million kilometers. Even at 6 million kilometers distance also, the temperature will be very high, and the instrument or the spacecraft will be protected with carbon composite shield. If someone talks about carbon composite, this is the material used to withstand very high temperatures in spacecrafts. So carbon composite shield will be used, and this spacecraft will go up to the range of 6 million kilometers of the sun. And please don't forget, NASA is going for this venture. And the next point is, what is to be probed? Two important points to be probed. The first point is, the surface of the sun is photosphere. All of you are familiar. The surface of the sun is known as photosphere, and the atmosphere is corona. The surface of the sun has got a temperature of 5500 degrees centigrade, whereas the temperature of corona is very high. What is the reason for it? So, to probe this aspect, this NASA's experiment may be useful. The second point is, sun occasionally emits high energy particles that are posing danger to the unprotected astronauts and spacecrafts. And what is the reason why the sun is occasionally emitting high energy particles? So these two are the important aspects which are going to be probed by the experiment by NASA. Look into the next one. UK Sinha handed over the charge of chairman of SEBI to Ajay Tyagi. And UK Sinha, after 2 extensions, he was at the helm for around 6 years. And SEBI, please don't forget, this is the regulator for capital markets. And here salient points of UK Sinha tenure. Basically, he is known for protecting the interests of small investors, and rules governing initial public offers were thoroughly overhauled by him, and merchant bankers were also asked to display their track record on websites, and stricter regulations were imposed for foreign portfolio investors, especially for participatory notes holders. And in the public limited companies, this minimum public shareholding of 25% was enforced. And the next one is compulsory women director stipulation was also imposed. And by making amendments to the Securities Contract Regulation Act, regulation of Ponzi schemes was officially brought under SEBI. Previously, it was the vague area, and now it is officially brought under SEBI. So these are the important aspects when you look at Sinha's career for 6 years. Then SEBI is trying to tighten the regulations for algorithmic trading, particularly known as algo trading. Algo trading. What is the meaning of algo trading? Algo trading refers to the use of a software by using software within a few seconds, lakhs or thousands of transactions are taken place. So, by using some software, thousands of transactions or huge transactions will be executed at a much faster pace. So, this is the meaning of algo trading. So, algo trading refers to the use of software programs to execute trading strategies at a much faster pace. Right? So, SEBI is looking at this algorithmic trading. Bharat Stage 4 norms are to kick in nationwide from 1st April 2017. Please recall this Bharat Stage 6 norms. Why? These are for the purpose of reducing pollution, so as to control pollution, or otherwise so as to regulate the emission for vehicles. Pollutants will be controlled, or you can say pollutants will be reduced after the introduction of Bharat 4, and subsequently Bharat 6 is planned from 1st April 2020, and government is skipping Bharat 5. All of you are familiar about it. And now entire country will have Bharat Stage 4 norms from 1st April 2017. Right? Look into the next one. Government is pushing for expediting FASTags. What is this FASTag? FASTag means this is employed on national highways at toll plazas. Highways, they collect toll at every 50 kilometers or 100 kilometers, and this is automatic deduction of money. Here the point is based on radio frequency identification technology. This is based on RFID technology, and here it is a simple to use reloadable tag which enables automatic deduction of toll charges. So, here if a vehicle is passing through the toll plaza, automatically money will be deducted. They need not stop at a toll plaza, and the crisis of this toll plazas, because we are seeing long queues at toll plazas, that will be solved once this FASTag is implemented at the toll gates. Look into the next one. According to the data released by DIPP, India attracted $46 billion of FDI in 2016. And please don't forget, in 2015 we received $39 billion of FDI, and in 2016 we got $46 billion. This is 18% high. Another important point, please don't forget, maximum FDI comes from Singapore, and maximum foreign portfolio investment comes from United States of America. These two things please don't forget. Maximum FDI comes from Singapore, maximum foreign portfolio investment comes from United States of America. Before going into the next one, this is foreign direct investment. That means directly investing into our country. It is stable, it creates employment, GDP will grow, and it leads to wealth creation. Sometimes technology transfer takes place. And one important difference between FDI and FPI is FDI is highly stable and FPI is highly volatile, right? And the concept of Hyperloop is gaining momentum across the world. What is Hyperloop? Please look into this picture. This is the pictorial representation of Hyperloop. What is the meaning? Basically, it uses special pods moving at high speeds near vacuum tubes. Inside near vacuum tubes, pods will be moving at very high speeds. The speeds may go up to 1100 kilometers per hour, 1200 kilometers per hour, and if you want to travel from Chennai to Delhi, you can reach in less than 2 hours. That means somewhat lesser time in comparison to the aircraft travel, right? So here 1100 kilometers per hour, 1200 kilometers per hour, the maximum speed is that, and it is 2 to 3 times faster than the fastest high speed trains, or you can say bullet trains. And another interesting feature is Hyperloop departures could happen within a low frequency of a pod every 20 seconds, and no direct emissions or noise, and capital cost per mile of Hyperloop is 60% that of high speed rail as per the promoter's version. Right, so we have to see for more information as the time passes. And recently one meeting was held and the promoters of Hyperloop technologies came to our country. Right friends, look at the next one. GDP growth slowed to 7% in October-December 2016-17. In fact, people expected that GDP will be in the range of 6.5% or so, but GDP recorded during October-December was a quite respectable figure of 7%, and it indicates that the impact of demonetization is not that severe. But the other view is informal sector was not captured because the figures of informal sector will be available much later. We discussed in detail in newspaper editorial discussion, so let us leave this at this juncture. Tata Sons decided to put an end to dispute with entity Docomo. All of you are familiar with Tata Docomo. Tata Docomo was formed as a joint venture. One side Tata Sons, other side Docomo. Docomo belongs to Japan, and as per the original agreement, if Docomo wants to exit, it is the responsibility of Tata Sons to find the buyer, because Docomo at that time got 26.5% in Tata Teleservices, and if Docomo wants to exit, it was the responsibility of Tata Sons to find the buyer. If buyer is not available, then Tata Sons have to purchase it at the predetermined price. In fact, Tata decided to buy Docomo's share at a predetermined price, but RBI not agreed for it because it tantamounts to buying the shares at a predetermined price. Subsequently, Docomo of Japan went to arbitration, and here London court awarded $1.18 billion, and subsequently Cyrus Mistry challenged this order in Delhi High Court, and probably that is one of the reasons why Cyrus Mistry had to go. And now Tata Sons decided to take out the case from Delhi High Court, and now it decided to pay $1.18 billion. This is all about Tata Docomo case. Right, look into the next one. Marshall Islands became the first country to ratify Global Pact to phase out hydrofluorocarbons. And go back to 1980s. All of you are familiar with the Montreal Protocol. Montreal Protocol basically for eliminating chlorofluorocarbons. Why chlorofluorocarbons were planned to be eliminated in 1980s? Because a big hole was found in ozone layer over Antarctica, and chlorofluorocarbons were responsible for ozone layer destruction. That's why in 1980s it was decided to eliminate chlorofluorocarbons. In place of chlorofluorocarbons, hydrofluorocarbons came. Now this Kigali Amendment to Montreal Protocol is basically to eliminate hydrofluorocarbons. So, to eliminate hydrofluorocarbons, this Kigali Amendment came into force. So, to eliminate hydrofluorocarbons, this Kigali Amendment to Montreal Protocol was contemplated, and now Marshall Islands became the first country to ratify the Global Pact to phase out hydrofluorocarbons. So, previously chlorofluorocarbons were eliminated. Now hydrofluorocarbons are going to be eliminated. That is all about this news item. Marshall Islands became the first country to ratify this Kigali Pact. Right? So this is the location of Marshall Islands in Pacific Ocean, highly vulnerable because of climatic changes. And Kigali Pact we deliberated during 41st week as capsule 1. this is one important fact of 2016, and we have given total information with regard to Kigali Pact, because Kigali Pact is nothing but 1987 Montreal Protocol's amendment. So, if someone talks about Kigali Pact, it is to eliminate hydrofluorocarbons up to the extent of 85% by 2045, and these are basically used in refrigerants and air conditioners, and by 2045, 85% of HFCs are going to be eliminated. What is the need for eliminating HFCs? Because they trap thousands of times more heat in the Earth's atmosphere than carbon dioxide. Right. So, this is very important amendment of 2016. DRDO successfully carried out a test of an interceptor missile. So, here DRDO test of this ballistic missile defense. Actually, this is a two-layered missile defense. One is in the exo-atmosphere, that means at high altitudes of over 85 kilometers. So, last month DRDO carried out a successful test of the exo-atmospheric interceptor missile at a height of more than 85 kilometers, that is exo-atmospheric shield. Now, the present experiment pertaining to intercepting incoming missile at lower heights of 15 kilometers, and this is known as endo-atmospheric shield. So, with this, two experiments of this two-layered ballistic missile defense by DRDO completed, and this missile shield, two-layered missile shield, will become a reality by 2022, right. So, this is all about this news item. And look at the next one. According to National Family Health Survey of 2015-16, infant mortality rate of Kerala fell to 6. And this is comparable to the advanced economies. That is one aspect. And the second aspect is, no state in India is nearer to the figures of Kerala. I am talking about bigger states. No bigger state in India is nearer to the figures of Kerala. So, here at present, India's infant mortality rate is 41. Please don't forget. India's infant mortality rate is 41, and infant mortality rate is the number of children who die before attaining 1 year of age per 1000 live births. And Kerala's IMR, in fact, 10 years ago was 15, and now it came down to 6. Look into the figures. Kerala figure is 6, USA 6, OECD 6, European Union 4. So, Kerala's figures are comparable with advanced economies. You look at other developed states, Tamil Nadu 21, Maharashtra 24. So, no state is nearer to the Kerala figure. So, it is one of the biggest achievements of Kerala because of high literacy rate and high awareness levels. Then other states, Chhattisgarh 54, Bihar, Assam at 48. The national average of IMR is 41, please don't forget, and Kerala's average is 6. India accepted an invitation to attend the next meeting of the Permanent Indus Commission. This Permanent Indus Commission meetings are held every year, and this Indus Water Treaty, please recollect, it was signed on 19th September 1960. World Bank was also signatory, Muhammad Ayub Khan from Pakistan, Jawaharlal Nehru from India, and this was signed on 19th September 1960, that is one part, and three western rivers were almost dedicated for Pakistan use, 3 eastern rivers for India. Please look into this picture. Western rivers, Indus, Jhelum, Chenab for Pakistan use. India can construct run-of-the-river power projects, that is exception. And these 3 rivers, Ravi, Beas, Satluj, these 3 are allocated for India. and after Uri attack, there was apprehension that permanent Indus commission will be abandoned, but in the month of March, the meeting is going to be held, and as per the news reports, India is going to attend the meeting. And the other important point is India completed Baglihar hydroelectric project on Chenab river. India completed Baglihar hydroelectric project on Chenab river, and Ratley hydroelectric project is coming up on the same river, and another project is Kishan Ganga. Kishan Ganga project is coming up on Kishan Ganga river, which is the tributary of Jhelum. So these projects are very important when you look at this Indus water treaty. So if someone talks about Baglihar and Ratley power projects, these two are on Chenab river. Other one is Ullar barrage, which was abandoned in 1980s by India, and now India is trying to construct Ullar barrage, and this is on river Jhelum, please don't forget. And the other project is Kishan Ganga hydroelectric project. So Kishan Ganga project is in fact on the river Kishan Ganga, which is a tributary of Jhelum river. So these aspects please don't forget when you look at this Indus water treaty and relevant projects. Look into the next one. This is Kuruk, an endangered tribal language of the Dravidian family, was given official status in West Bengal. And Kuru language, already official language in Jharkhand. In Jharkhand, Kuru language is already official language, and the script of Kuru language is called Tolong Siki. Please don't forget about these things. So Kuru language, why so special about Kuru languages? It is spoken by Oran tribal community. It is spoken by Oran tribal community, and one important aspect is most of the languages of this tribal region are of Astro-Asiatic or Tibeto-Burman families, but this particular language Kuruk has got Dravidian origin. So this particular language is of Dravidian family, that is very important. And another tribal language having this Dravidian origin is Malto. So these aspects please don't forget, and especially please don't forget Kuruk language. This was recently given official status in West Bengal, and this is the tribal language of Dravidian family. And another language which has got its origin from Dravidian family is Malto, which is spoken in Rajmahal hills of Jharkhand, and this Kuruk language is predominantly spoken by Oran tribal community, and this language enjoys official status already in Jharkhand, please don't forget. And here Santali, Munda, Ho languages belongs to Astro-Asiatic family, and Lepcha, Tamang and Bhutia, they belongs to Tibeto-Burman group. But here this language, Kuruk language, belongs to Dravidian origin, and another language is Malto, that also has got the Dravidian origin. Right? Look into the last issue. Government stated that half of the India-Bangladesh border of 4096 kilometers was fenced, and please look into this picture. The total boundary is 4097 kilometers between India and Bangladesh. Half of the boundary is fenced, and these are the lengths of boundaries, and West Bengal has got the longest boundary with Bangladesh, and as per the news item, Assam has got the smallest boundary with Bangladesh. These things please don't forget, and the riverine stretches is the real problem, and government is planning to install cameras and lasers, please don't forget. So with this we came to the end of why and how. We discussed several important aspects today, so let us wind up. Have a nice day. Thank you.